Let's start with the favorite course in Washington.
Favorite course in Washington. I'm a little biased. I grew up in Clarkston, Washington, which some people didn't say even in Washington. It's so far in the southeast corner. It's on the border of Idaho and the Snake River. So Clarkston Country Club is where I grew up. I love it. But that's just because I grew up there. I would say Apple Tree is fond memories. I went to high school, stayed there at Apple Tree. If we're going to the west side where all the fancy people hang out, I would say Seattle Golf Club. Or if I have one round to play in the Northwest, I'm going to Aldera. Doesn't get better than Aldera. Sean Rehorn with superintendent there.
Have you played Sahali?
I have not played Sahali since I was an amateur.
And it looks like you're just hitting it to a hallway on every hole.
I enjoyed watching the women's
crazy.
PGA Champ there because, one, most people are like, I can't believe it's that narrow, and it is that narrow. I'm looking forward to getting out there. I think I'm going to get out there this fall, go up for a Seahawks game, and then play Sahali and hit driver on every hole and see how I do.
Yes, that's great.
We love going.
Well, Joel brought the Seahawks. Let's go with this one. Seahawks record this year.
What do we have? 17 games now.
Yep.
We're gonna go 10-7 is optimistic.
New coaching staff.
Realistically, we're going 9-8. We have a winning record.
Okay.
But not, and we miss a wild card spot by a game because we lose to the Vikings.
Oh, could happen.
It could.
I don't know.
We know the Vikes on Super Bowl marks again.
I just know that we are not good enough to win a Super Bowl anytime soon, so I'll take a playoff run.
Okay.
A playoff spot run, I should say.
All right. How many shots do you need to give Gino?
It depends. Completely depends what golf course we play. I played with Gino last summer when I was home, about a year ago actually. I gave him 2 aside, and he was 8 under through 13.
Oh,
I birdied the last to beat him. I shot 63. He shot 64. He knew he was about to beat his boss and kind of choked it coming in a little bit. So
that would have been great content.
If I played Gino on like a tour setup, I think more like 5 aside is probably fair. Okay. But it depends. He can spray his driver a little bit. But man, you get him on an easier golf course, he's going to shoot on a par. He's really good.
Okay, cool. We're the Break 80 podcast. When did you first break 80?
Ooh, I don't know that one. I know the first time I broke 70 when first time I broke par, actually. I was 12 years old playing with our assistant pro.
Like 5?
Yeah. I was playing with a couple of our assistant pros and had a good match, and I shot 68 that day, and I won't forget that one. But the first time I broke 80, I don't remember. Okay. When I was 9, I won the junior state and broke 75 for 3 rounds. So before that, sometime.
Okay, so you've always been a really good golfer.
Yeah, when I was, I just grew very quickly.
Okay.
I was a mature 7-year-old. How's
you're
that?
Like the kid in what's the little baseball? They're just gigantic. No, like
the little league.
Yeah, the kid that's just like that kid is not
like
16.
Danny Almonte was like.
Yeah. Okay. Well, some people say when we're out in Scottsdale that you kind of dodged coming out to play us. When you offer things on online. Have you ever lost to a Twitter challenger?
I think I've lost every Twitter challenge I've played.
Look at giving him shots, I'm sure.
Giving him bumps,
okay.
But I have not. I've never played very well in one, which is a little disappointing because I kind of want to show up and shoot 63 on him one of these times and just show him. But with the strokes, they've always been pretty fair matches. But I have never walked away with money in my pocket.
We would gladly play you, but I don't believe it.
Mike doesn't believe in strokes.
I don't believe in bumps, so we would have to play straight up. So
that would be a real problem for you. You'd have to play from the very forward tees.
That would be good.
0.9 handicap wouldn't hold up very well.
All right, well, you kind of answered this elsewhere, but because this is a different thing. Favorite PXG club?
My favorite PXG club is... I tend to go to my lob wedge, my 60. It spins so much. I love that Sugar Daddy wedge. But I have a new secret weapon mini driver in the bag.
Mini driver? Are we going to see that this week?
PXG makes a mini driver?
So it's maybe a prototype still, but I've had it in the bag for a few months, and I've hit some bombs in a par 5s from 270 plus that have turned out really good. It's a new weapon for me. That's why it's called a secret weapon. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of answered this one already too, but some favorite PGA Tour guys to play with?
I like to play with anyone who's like the top guy. Last time I played with Scotty Scheffler, he chipped in twice and hit the pin another time and was definitely the best player in the world. That was fun to watch. I've always enjoyed playing with Ricky Fowler. I think he's underrated. As much as he is rated, I still think he's underrated for how good he is. Man, he's really good, and he's fun to play with. But anytime you get to play with one of those top 5 or 10 players in the world, they're just a little bit different and a little bit better.
They're built different, as they say. Kind of
Yeah.
like you were when you were like 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know
That's exactly
All right, favorite course in Scottsdale, since you are a Scottsdale guy now.
Besides Scottsdale National, I play a lot at Mesa Country Club,
Okay.
which is a fun little spot. It's very kind of a blue collar. We play sixums. We play fast. We listen to music. We have a long drink or a beer or two. That's just a really fun experience.
All right, basing off this, have you ever had a Scottsdale blonde? Not the woman.
Not the Cougars that.
Not the Cougars that-
Not Old Town Scottsdale.
I've been happily married to a brunette from Scottsdale for 12 years. I've had many of Scottsdale blondes in my day.
That was a big
That was a
favorite.
good
of ours.
Yeah.
Scottsdale.
There's like 3 or 4 different ones now. I mean, they're all, but I think the actual original Scottsdale blonde, it's not from, it might be from Hush Brewing actually, but it's pretty good. Maybe Four Peaks has a Scottsdale blonde.
Okay. Favorite hole on tour.
Immediately thought of 18 at Pebble. I feel like there's a lot of great holes at Hilton Head. Those are fun. I enjoy a lot of holes at TPC Sawgrass actually because they're kind of hard and they're difficult. But how about this? Drivable, not any drivable, but there's some really good drivable par 4s that I think every good golf course needs a drivable par
100%.
4. And it needs to be reachable for everyone, and it needs to be penal if you miss the green or in the wrong spot.
Should also be part of the Break 85. I mean, I've been saying this. I say this weekly. Like,
Yeah.
make this hard for these guys.
All right. Well, then you said you like hard, but what is the hardest hole then on tour? Like you're like you kind of like know it's coming, and like I don't want to play this one.
There's a couple at Riv that are just the 12th at Riv is a brutal par 4. It's long. If you tee off in the back in the morning, it's even longer. And there's OB left, and the trees right are dead. And then you're hitting like a long iron into a tiny skinny green that runs away from you. That seems really hard to me every time I play it. There's so many hard holes, but I feel like a couple at Riv when it's in the morning is brutal. 17th hole at Sawgrass when you're in the top 10, and there's a $25 million purse.
And
It'll
there's
make you
a
perk a little bit,
win, too.
to a back right pin.
Speaking of Riv, what's your take on the 10th hole? I love the 10th hole.
The 10th hole has become way too severe at Riviera.
Is it?
It is. It's great because everyone can hit it around the green, but the problem is you can hit 2 great golf shots and your ball is not on the green still. So if they softened it a hair back to what it is, then it's a great golf hole. Right now everyone does the exact same thing. You try to hit a hole high left somewhere, chip it on the green somewhere, and maybe you make a 3, but it's too severe in spots.
Decade golf has wrecked that.
Well, let's kind of stay on topic here. What's your favorite hole at the 3M at TPC Blaine?
The 18th is fun because it's risk reward. You can go for it. Most tour players are long enough to get there if the wind's not in your face. I don't care how good you are. You're still going to pucker up a little bit when you have to fly one 230 plus over water. Even though there's a backstands you can kind of hit it into. Backstopping, sorry, that is a thing sometimes.
We've noticed the spectators. Guys will use the backstop.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Some folks have it easy. You just hit it into stuff. and then
Yeah,
kicks
it's
it
just
back
so
out.
easy. We just
People
bang it into
especially.
stuff.
People, just hit it in the people.
I think an underrated hole at TBC Twin Cities is the 10th hole. It's short,
Okay, yep.
It's good.
super narrow green. You have to get the proper kind of angle into it, and then if the wind starts blowing, like you miss it in either spot, you're not getting up and down. So for
Yeah,
a short hole,
100%.
I think it's a solid golf hole.
Okay.
Guys are laying back off the tee there a lot.
A lot more. I don't, but I don't hit it as far as some other guys. But
Okay. Well, do you think you're more famous for you're taking your shirt off or your Netflix acting skills? What do you think has got more attention?
I think Netflix as a whole is probably more famous but in the small golf world, it's definitely a shirt off on 16th. Like that's something that
Yeah.
one doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen. It helps that I did it with Harry Higgs, and
Yeah.
it's a thing that will never happen again.
Well, I was going to say, with Harry back on, he's got his tour card again next year.
Get the balls back together.
The only way that Harry and I take our shirt off again is if we partner at Zurich next year and we win.
Yeah, hell yeah, there we go.
Well,
That is the only way that happens.
let's get that done. I want you talking to Harry ASAP on partnering up. That'd be sick. All right.
Blowback off of that? Why never again?
There's some rules and regulations with the PGA Tour, and if you break them once, they slap you on the wrist. If you break them twice, they really don't like it.
There's a lot. I'm sure some money involved. All right, who approached who? Did PXG come to you, or did you reach out to them?
We reached out to PXG. I was a rookie for a few years on, I should say, a club. I was a rookie for 1 year. I think that's the definition of the word rookie, right? Mm-hmm. I was a free agent for a couple years. There was another company that I played on the Corn Ferry Tour that didn't want me anymore. They were similar to PXG, and we were kind of looking around, and PXG was close, had a lot of people I liked. Obviously, loved their golf clubs, and it just seemed like a great fit.
How do you define a successful season? When you look back, you played how many now? Have you been on tour for what, 8, 9 years?
This is my 8th year.
8 year.
How do you define it? It's easy to look at a FedEx Cup or money earned and say that was a good year. I think improvement and like kind of like how much fun did I have, honestly. Mm-hmm. There's been years I haven't played as well and I had more fun. But it's easy to look at the end results, but I don't think that's necessarily it. I think I've improved a bunch. It just hasn't quite shown yet, and when that does show, that'll be maybe the most fun year.
When you say fun, does that mean that you're hitting the ball pretty well?
No, I think it's actually it's almost like not even in. It's like, yeah, golf is fun, but actually like enjoying golf, enjoying setting up your Tuesday around with your friends a little bit more. Make sure you're going to dinner still with some of your friends. That staying with houses with friends, like making it fun as a whole. Like you're not like there's weeks that we just don't want to be on the road anymore. We want to be in our own bed. It's like, who do you surround yourself with, and like the other little intangibles that make it all fun. Because if you stay in a hotel every week by yourself, and you're going to be pretty grumpy at the end of it. So it's like you can make golf fun, and if you just try to do that,
you can make it a real grind.
You can.
We watch guys on the 3M. They're on the range like 5 hours.
Right. That's just not who I am or what's best for me. But yeah, I think just overall, like, were memories made. There's some memories that we'll have forever, and then you kind of like, oh, I've never done anything fun here. Like, we should do something fun this week.
All right, just a couple left here, and we'll get you going. How has your mental health coach impacted your game? It sounds like you were reluctant to do it at the Netflix thing. Now you're kind of doing it, as we heard out there. Has that had any positive impact on?
I think a lot. I mean, when I first worked for him, or with him, I should say, I played terrible for a long time, and then I finished 13th in Vegas. 13th at Sanderson and 7th in Vegas, and kind of had a chance to win in Vegas. So the immediate impact was like right there. But I think I'm just I'm more consistent at everything I'm doing day to day, which is a win. Which is something. It's kind of amazing that I've been a professional this long and have been very inconsistent in everything I've done. So I think just like there's little wins all the time, and I think I'm more comfortable with what I'm doing and where I'm going and having a plan, which is kind of weird at 36, 7 years old to starting to formulate these things. But I think my best years are in front of me, and I certainly don't let bad weeks or bad holes or bad shots last as long as I used to. So in that sense, I think it's helped a ton. I also think that Gino's happier getting for me now that I'm a happier human. Good.
We're kind of the Tim kind of questions now. So what tournament has the best courtesy cars?
So we get
these are random.
Mental health. Genesis, the LA Open Riviera has Genesis cars, which are super nice. We get Lexuses often, but San Antonio gives you like super nice F-150s, which I'm kind of sneaky a truck guy. I don't have one, but I've always wanted one.
F-150. You want to go for a ride?
I do want to go for a ride. And I actually have an F-150 this week, so maybe 3M.
Yeah, there you go. Let's go.
So you guys, I told you I could drive over your BMW.
All right, so we're doing dive bars or Michelin stars. So like nice place or like dive it.
So the best part is you can do both. You go to a dive bar first, then you go to Michelin. You have unbelievable food and you have a fancy cocktail, and then you end your night back at some dive bars.
Okay, I've never done that.
This is my
really wants Minnesota. You got to go Matt's Bar for the original Juicy Lucy.
Okay, I'm into it. My wife loves dive bars.
Love it.
We try to eat the best food, not always the best food, but like the most local food, which is always fun. Where do the locals hang? You can always go to a steakhouse, right? They're basically all the same. Yeah. Where do the locals eat? What do we do? And then it's so much fun to go to a dive bar in the evening. Or
Spoon and Stables are high-end nice restaurants.
Okay.
Spoon and Stables local, or
I think that's where she went a couple years ago. Her and Chelsea almost missed their flight because they drove down, and then they ended up hanging out for far too long, and then they almost missed their flight out.
Matt's Bar, that's the original Juicy Lucy.
Okay, I saw. We stayed downtown, and Gay 30 was right next door to us, or close to us.
Gay 90s.
Is that what Gay 90s? We thought that might
You
be
want the
fun.
local scene, buddy. You go there.
It seemed pretty local, pretty fun.
Yeah. Never been there, to be honest.
Lots of free drinks.
For guys like us. All right, I'm in.
All right, last question. We get what's your realistic goal for this week? You got the 3M here in Minnesota. What do you want to walk away with achieving this week?
I mean, the easy answer is like you want to win, but coming off 2 missed cuts off of opposite field events, so my game is sharper than it's looking on TV or on the stats. But I can play this golf course well. I'm looking to be competitive well into Sunday. Like I'm not. You can do so many things right and not win. You can play great. But I don't think there's any reason I can't have a chance come late Sunday afternoon to be competitive. And I would like to hit a shot on 18 over the water that means something this week. Because I've done it before and it doesn't mean anything here for me. I'd really like to have that chance to like maybe hit a hybrid or whatever, or 4-iron over this water that is intimidating. Well, depending on how many stroke lead I have.
Yeah. Well, Finau pulled this off in 17 a couple of years back. Just absolutely pumped it to the. I'm just getting this thing over the water.
did.
Yeah, and he kicked back and made par.
I mean, after Scott Pierce, he just totally went meltdown.
He started on like the 12th hole with that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like the water and the mess.
So, all right. Well, anything else, Mike, before we wrap up?
Yeah, good question.
No, well, thanks for joining us. Joel Dahmen here. Catch him out at 3M.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.